He ran from the man who owned his body but never loved his soul and crashed into the arms of someone even more dangerous. Max escapes a toxic ex who refuses to let go, bleeding and lost, only to be caught by Whit, older, harder, the kind of man who could break him with one look. Their nights turn electric, wet skin, stolen touches, breaths too close to resist. But outside the walls, the ex is hunting. Inside, desire burns like fire waiting to explode. Every choice pushes Max deeper between chains that feel safe and a stranger's arms that feel like home. Is Whit salvation, or just another prison in disguise? When anger turns to want, when betrayal collides with lust, one truth becomes clear. Someone will bleed, someone will lie, and someone will walk away. The only question is woe. The glass shattered before I even registered that it had slipped from my hand. Red wine bled across the kitchen tiles, spreading like a wound I couldn't cover. My heart raced so violently that I heard it louder than the sound of shards scattering across the floor. My phone screen still glowed in front of me, the words imprinted in my skull, infectious disease detected, contact your physician immediately. For a moment I couldn't move. The room tilted, as though the world itself had lurched sideways. But it wasn't the world, it was me. My knees threatened to fold, my hands shook. I whispered, no, not him, not him. I had built my life around Grant. For 6 years he had been my anchor. We were weeks away from our wedding. White orchids ordered, venue paid, families flying in. And now, Thais, something invasive in my blood, something I didn't invite, something that couldn't exist unless someone had brought it home to me. My pulse hammered harder. The air thickened, sticky in my lungs. I grabbed the counter for balance, but even the cool marble couldn't ground me. I stared at the notification again, waiting for it to rearrange into something else, anything else. But it didn't. When I finally pulled myself upright, I heard the front door open. Grant's voice floated in, calm and practiced, the voice I had trusted more than my own heartbeat. Max, you here? I couldn't answer. I was too busy hiding the phone behind my back, sliding it into my pocket like contraband. He stepped into the kitchen, loosening his tie, smiling the same tired smile he always did after late meetings. His cologne wrapped around me, clean and sharp. He bent down, kissed my cheek like nothing had shifted in our universe. You okay? You look pale. I nodded. The lie stuck to my throat like dust, just tired. He poured himself water, humming under his breath. My ears rang. I wanted to scream, to grab him by the collar and demand answers. Instead, I watched his reflection in the glass cabinet doors, searching for the twitch, the tell, the confirmation of what my body already knew. When he finally disappeared into the shower, I moved. Straight to the garage, straight to his car. My fingers were clumsy on the glove compartment, but the click of the latch confirmed everything I had feared. A second phone, cheap, black, no case. I unlocked it with a swipe. No password. He didn't even bother to hide it properly. The screen lit up and my stomach dropped. Threads of messages stacked one after another. Names saved as initials, some as emojis. Messages dripping with intimacy that wasn't mine. Screens full of bodies, of promises, of secrets. And then me brother's name. Josh 19. I nearly dropped the phone. I scrolled faster. Flirty lines, then explicit ones. His tone with Josh was the same tone he used with me years ago, back when I believed in him like scripture. I felt bile rise in my throat. The air in the garage tasted metallic like rusted iron and betrayal. I slammed the glove box shut, chest heaving. My hands gripped the steering wheel, white, knuckled. For one long moment I didn't breathe at all. Then I ripped the ring from my finger, threw it onto the passenger seat. My lips trembled as the words scraped out, not like this, never like this. My body moved on instinct. I stuffed my passport into a bag, yanked a jacket from the closet, grabbed my keys. I didn't even think. I just knew I had to leave before my own walls started suffocating me. The night air hit me with the sting of cold metal. I gasped as though surfacing from water. My skin was clammy. The taste of blood lingered on my tongue. I'd bitten my lip without realizing. The city blurred as I drove. Lights streaked like they were mocking me. My breath came in broken gulps, fogging the windshield from the inside. I didn't know where I was going. I just knew I couldn't stay. Blocks melted into each other until I found myself at the edge of the industrial district, outside an abandoned repair shop I hadn't seen in years. Rusted shutters hung half-closed. I pulled over, engine ticking into silence. My chest felt like it was imploding. I leaned forward, forehead pressed against the steering wheel, trying not to scream. That was when I heard it. A sound of faint metallic scrape from inside the darkened building. I froze, I wasn't alone. A flashlight beam cut across the wall inside. Someone else was there, my lungs locked, I couldn't move. My body wanted to collapse, but something stronger held me upright. Fear, adrenaline, or fate. The light shifted again. A shadow passed the window. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel. Every nerve screamed. And then the question tore through me, raw and unrelenting. Where am I now? What did I just choose? I didn't run. I let the dark hold me and opened the car door, stepping into the dim repair bay. Concrete held the day's heat. The air tasted like oil and metal. A flashlight cut a line across my chest. I lifted my hands. Who are you? A man asked, low voice, no warmth. Max, I said, I need a place to breathe, not your building. The beam paused on my wrist, where a thin line of blood curved toward my palm. You're hurt, it's nothing. He didn't lower the light. I saw him in pieces, boots, work pants, a forearm with old burns, a jaw carved out of quiet. Older than me, he stepped close enough that his presence felt like pressure. Don't move, he said. He snagged a rag from a bench and reached for my hand. I should have pulled back. I didn't. His fingers closed around my wrist firm, careful. The rag pressed the cut. Heat climbed my arm, not from pain but from touch I hadn't asked for and didn't refuse. You're bleeding more than nothing. I don't want trouble. Then don't lie, he said, finally lowering the beam. Clean lines, short hair, eyes the color of steel that had seen fire. Name's Whit. How long were you out there? A while. I swallowed. The clinic called. His gaze flicked to my face, and they found something infectious. The word left a taste. It shouldn't be possible unless I stopped. My mouth refused the rest. Got it, he said, no judgment. A soft door closing on details. Come inside. I shouldn't. You already did. He took 2 steps. Space shrank 2 inches. He smelled like soap and engine grease. You're shaking. Fine. He guided me to the small office glowing with a desk lamp. He tore a sterile packet. The sound was decisive. I watched his hands, big, scarred, controlled. Sit, he said. I sat. My chest fluttered like I'd swallowed a trapped bird. This may sting. He dabbed antiseptic. It stung. I didn't flinch. He clocked it. You're somewhere else. Everywhere else, I said, hating how true it sounded. He wrapped gauze, knuckles barely brushing my skin. No ring. I noted it and hated that I noted it. Are you running from someone? I looked at the floor. A screw glinted under the desk, pretending to be important. I was engaged. Past tense slid out. Whit's eyes didn't change. Just attention. Do you want me to call anyone? No. Please don't call the police. I wasn't going to, he said. You're not a criminal. How do you know? I opened the door. He set the bottle down. Criminals knocked the lock off. My mouth twitched. Not a smile. He saw it any way human across a wreck I hadn't named. Can I stay 10 minutes? I asked. 15, he said. Lock the door after I leave. After you leave, I leave upstairs, he said. And closing now. He flipped a switch. The shutters groaned down. The bay sealed with a metallic sigh. My pulse slowed 1 notch, and then kicked again when his shadow crossed me. He leaned on the workbench, arms crossed. Look at me, he said. I looked. The quiet in his face was chosen. It made me want to pour chaos into it and see if it held. What do you need right now? The question cracked me open. To not be touched by the truth for 5 minutes, I said, and to not be alone for those 5 minutes. He nodded like the order made sense. He pulled a clean sweatshirt from a locker and set it on my knee. Put that on. You're cold. Not. You are, he said, eyes flicking to the tremor in my fingers. And you are lying again. I slipped the sweatshirt over my head. It was big and smelled like his life. I hated that it steadied me. He stood closer than he had to, not touching, present. I felt warmth through his shirt anyway, like heat finds its own path. You can't breathe here, he said, softer. Just breathe. I tried. The inhale caught on old glass. The exhale finally found a way out. My phone buzzed. I didn't look. He didn't ask. The sound cracked the moment. Do you work here alone? I asked to keep his voice near mine. Most nights. Why open the door? Because you stood there too long. A shrug. People who want to steal don't think that hard before they move. I wasn't thinking at all. That's the problem. Silence did its work. He cleaned wrappers, slid the box into a drawer. Everything he did had edges lined up, like disorder irritated him on a cellular level. "Promise me something," he said. "What if you walk out, do it when your hands stop shaking, not before, and if they don't stop, then you sit." He tilted his head. "Or you talk to the wall if you want. It listens better than most people. Do you? I try." A rough sound left my throat. It might have been a laugh. "You don't know me." "I know enough," he said. "Your mouth says you're fine. Your hands say you're not, and your eyes." He paused. "They are holding something heavy." Heat crawled up my neck. The sweatshirt hem rasped my wrist when I rubbed at the gauze. He took a small step. His knee touched the stool. My shoulders went tight. "Not fear, a reflex. Am not going to touch you," he said, reading it. "Unless you ask, I want." It came too fast. "I mean, I don't know. Fair." We stood inside a circle we hadn't drawn and refused to leave it. My phone buzzed again. I pulled it out, stared at the name, Grant. I flipped it face down. Whit noticed and didn't say it. "You're safe here tonight," he said. "If you want to be." I said 15 minutes. "Am extending the policy." Almost. Humor touched his mouth. "Owner's privilege. What's the catch? You lock this door from the inside." He placed a small silver key on the desk. "You don't go downstairs, and you tell me if you need help." "I don't. You might." He dimmed the lamp. His sleeve brushed my shoulder, a whisper of fabric, nothing more. My body reacted like it remembered a language it had promised to forget. I hated and needed that in the same second. "Rest," he said. "It'll be upstairs." He hesitated. "Max, yeah? If the person who did this calls, don't answer. You don't know what he did." "I don't have to," he said. "I saw your hands." He left. Footsteps thumped above, steady and unhurried. The quiet didn't feel empty. It felt occupied by something I could stand inside. I sank into the chair, the sweatshirt swallowing me whole, and let my breath even out. My phone buzzed twice more. I powered it off. Darkness settled like a hand on my spine, not cruel, just present. I turned the key, felt the click, and sat with the choice. I had asked for 5 minutes of not being touched by the truth. He gave me the whole night, and I wasn't sure whether that mercy was safety or a danger I had already chosen. I heard him lock the stair door. I didn't sleep. The sweatshirt had given me held his warmth like a ghost that wouldn't leave my skin. Upstairs I heard his steps once, then silence. The building creaked. My own breath was too loud. At some point I climbed the stairs. He was there, sitting with a mug, face caught in lamplight. He didn't look surprised, just steady. "Chamomile," he said, sliding the cup forward. I took it. Our fingers almost touched. Heat jolted higher than the tea. "You could sent me away," I said. "You asked without asking," he replied. The silence pressed. I pulled the sweatshirt tighter. He noticed my hands still trembled. He crouched, unwrapping the bandage like he had the right. His breath brushed my wrist as he taped it fresh. My chest went taut. "You're somewhere else," he said. "Everywhere else," I admitted. For a moment neither of us moved. His face was close enough that I saw the scar at his lip, the faint burn mark on his thumb. I wanted to ask, wanted to touch. "I didn't. Can I stay here tonight?" My voice cracked. "Yes," he said. Then, softer, "Lock the door when I leave." I nodded. He placed a sweatshirt blanket over my shoulders, fingers grazing the collarbone before retreating. The touch was so brief it felt louder than words. Later, when the room had gone dark, I whispered, "Whit, yeah," his voice from the couch. "I can't turn it off." "Then don't," he said, "but don't do it alone." Minutes passed before I realized tears slid down my face. I didn't hide them. He rose, slow, giving me space to stop him. I didn't. He sat on the bed's edge. "May I?" he asked. I nodded. His hand rested on mine, warm, steady, not claiming just there. My chest shook with the relief of it. I turned my palm, laced our fingers, then let go too quickly. "Sorry. Don't be sorry for wanting to feel something that's real," he said. We sat like that, silence humming. I leaned a little closer, almost without choice. He did too, stopping an inch away. Breath mingled, lips near. The moment pulsed like a wire ready to snap. "Not tonight," he whispered. I nodded, throat burning. He pulled the blanket up to my collarbone, fingers brushing skin. Then he stepped back, leaving heat where his presence had been. "Sleep," he said. "It'll stay until you do." And he did. Morning cracked through the blinds like a warning. I woke in his shirt on his couch, with the memory of his hand still ghosting mine. For a second I forgot why I was here. Then my phone lit 30 missed calls, one voicemail, Grant. I powered it off, but too late. Whit saw the name flash. He didn't speak at first. He poured coffee, set it on the table with deliberate care. That him, my throat tightened. Yes, and you came here instead of answering. I waited for judgment. Instead he asked, does he know where you are? No, good, Whit said. But the word cut more than it comforted. I tried to drink, but the cup rattled in my hands. He reached to steady it, and I let him for a moment. Then I pulled back. Don't, I snapped. His jaw shifted. You don't trust me. I don't trust anyone. The words were too sharp, aimed at him when they belonged to someone else. He stood. Then why are you in my home? Because I had nowhere else. My voice broke. Because he broke me in ways I can't even say out loud. Because if I stayed there one more night, I stopped. The silence swallowed the end. Whit's face changed. Harder, less patient. You think running here fixes it? Am not your cure, Max. I patch engines, not people. The anger in his tone felt like betrayal. I shot to my feet, heart hammering. Then why let me in? Why touch me like what? His eyes burned. Like it meant something, I whispered. He stepped closer, heat radiating, but his voice was low steel. I touched you because you were shaking. Don't twist that into salvation. Pain cracked through me sharper than the diagnosis, sharper than the second phone. My body moved before thought. I shoved his chest hard. He didn't move much, but his jaw flexed. Say it, I hissed. Say you don't feel anything. I don't, he said instantly, but his eyes betrayed him, flicking to my mouth, lingering. His breath came quicker, betraying his control. We stood too close, anger sparking against something darker. For a breath I thought he'd kiss me, I'd kiss him, but he stepped back, fists tight at his sides. This was a mistake, he said. The room reeled, then throw me out. I should. His voice cracked, barely. But I want, not yet. I couldn't stand the sight of him too near, too dangerous. I grabbed my bag. Then he'll go, fine. He didn't stop me. The stair door slammed behind me, echoing through the bay. I sat in my car with shaking hands, staring at the steering wheel, unable to turn the key. Upstairs, a shadow crossed the window. He was watching. I hated him for letting me leave. I hated myself more for wanting him to stop me. The city at night is louder when you're hollow. Tires hissed across wet pavement, neon bled into puddles, and my car sat still in the middle of it, engine off, windshield fogged with my breath. I couldn't make myself drive anywhere. I had left Whit's place in rage, but distance hadn't dulled the echo of his voice. This was a mistake. I gripped the wheel until my palms hurt. My phone buzzed, and against my better judgment I looked. A message from Grant. Come home. We can fix this. Don't ruin us. My stomach turned. Then another. If you don't answer, I'll come find you. I threw the phone onto the passenger seat, shaking. I didn't want him to find me. I didn't want anyone to find me. And yet the only image that steadied me was Whit's face in the doorway, eyes steady even when his voice had cut me. I hated him for letting me walk out. I hated myself for wanting to turn back. Rain started, soft at first, then pounding. I rested my head on the wheel, exhausted, until I realized headlights had slowed behind me. A van idled too long in my mirror. Doors slid open, two figures stepped out, hoods up, moving too fast toward my car. Panic jolted me alive. I yanked the keys, twisted nothing. The engine refused. My breath shattered. Hands grabbed at the handle. I locked it just as fists slammed the glass. One shouted, "Get out!" I threw myself across the seat, shoved the opposite door, and stumbled into the street. My feet pounded water. I didn't look backingly forward, toward the one place my body trusted more than my mind, the repair shop. By the time I reached the bay, lungs burning, rain plastering hair to my skull, I was half dizzy. I pounded the shutter with both fists. Whit, my voice cracked raw. A pause, then the lock clattered. The door yanked up, and there he was barefoot, shirt clinging from sleep, eyes wide. Max, I fell inside, collapsing against him without meaning to. His arms caught me before I hit the floor. The contact lit every nerve. "Jesus," he muttered, "you're soaked, you're bleeding again. What the hell happened?" Someone, I gasped. Followed me, tried to. He didn't wait. He slammed the shutter down, bolted it, dragged me deeper inside. "You're safe here. Look at me." His hands gripped my shoulders. "Max, look." I did. His eyes were closer than I could bear, fierce with something between anger and fear. My chest heaved. His thumb brushed water from my cheek without thought. "Sit." He pushed me gently onto the bench, grabbed a towel, started wiping me down with rough efficiency. Every touch was practical, but my body read it as more. His hand lingered on my arm too long, slid against my ribs through the wet shirt. My breath caught. He noticed. His own breath faltered. "Take this off," he said. His tone was sharp, but not unkind. He meant the shirt, clinging and cold. I froze anyway. He saw it. "Max, I'm not him. I'm just trying to keep you from freezing." Slowly, trembling, I peeled it off. He draped the towel across my shoulders, then pressed his palm flat to my backsteady heat. No pressure. My body betrayed me. I leaned in. My forehead touched his chest. His hand stopped. He should have pulled away. He didn't. Instead, his arm wrapped around me, cautious at first, then tighter when he felt I wasn't resisting. The air between us bent. I lifted my head. Our faces were inches apart. The sound of rain on the roof filled the pause. His eyes flicked to my mouth, then back. Whit, my voice was a whisper. He shook his head faintly, but his forehead pressed to mine. His breath warmed my lips. For one heartbeat, the world thinned to a thread. If either of us moved, it would snap. Then the sound shattered it. A knock sharp, urgent in the shutter. We froze. Another knock, louder. A voice, "Open up," male, angry. Whit pulled back, jaw tight, eyes darker now. He motioned me behind him. "Stay here." "Who is it?" I whispered. "I don't know." He grabbed a wrench from the bench, moved toward the door. The knock became pounding. My pulse slammed as loud as the fists. Whoever was outside knew we were in here. My wet shirt lay discarded. My chest rose and fell bare in the chill. Whit glanced back at me once, and the look said what words couldn't. "This wasn't over." Not between us, not with them. The pounding learned my pulse and hit on the downbeat. "Open up," a man shouted. Another voice hissed, urgent. Whit lifted a hand. "Stay." He moved toward the shutter with a wrench low at his side, body angled to keep me in his line. "Who is it, Max?" The first voice sharpened. "It's me, Grant." My chest went cold. I wrapped my arms across my ribs like I could hold the bones together. Whit looked back. "You want him gone?" I couldn't answer. The question broke something simple. "Max," Grant said, closer to the seam in the metal. "Baby, we should talk?" "Don't call me that," I said, too soft for the door, loud enough for Whit. Open the door. A second voice barked. Deeper, Duran, his business partner. "Upstairs," Whit said. "I'm not leaving you." "Upstairs," he repeated, eyes steady. I didn't move. The metal shook the sockets. Somewhere a screw rang against concrete. It sounded like a coin flipping for my future. Whit flipped the intercom. Static. Then Grant's face flickered on the tiny monitor. Darren stood behind him, scanning. "Max," Grant said, "you're scared. I can fix it. You're sick. You need me." The word hit wrong. "I need a doctor," I said. "Not you. I already called them," he said quickly. "They'll meet us at home. Let's not make a scene." Whit killed the audio. "Do you want him here?" "No." The answer came clean. He nodded, reopened the line. The rain ticked like a clock over us. "He's not coming," Whit said. "Leave." "Who the hell are you?" Darren snapped. "Open up, or we call the cops. Or you leave," Whit said. His voice went low. Grant leaned down, smile thin. "Max, I forgive you for running. Come home." A laugh scraped out. "You forgive me?" The word forgive slid off him like rain off glass, never soaking the ground it should. Whit's eyes moved to mine. "Say what you need." He listed me as a role, I said, throat rough. "Not a person." Whit's jaw tightened. "I know. What? He was here last month. New tires. I heard him say your name like inventory. Rage and shame braided." "And you didn't tell me. I didn't know you," he said. "I don't step into strangers' houses." A beat. "Then you knocked on mine." The door boomed. "Time's up," Darren barked. "Last chance," Grant called. "Come home and well forget this." Whit touched the inner bar and let it clink, not opening. "I can keep them out," he said to me. "But I won't decide for you." My body did two things at once. Reached for the sweatshirt that smelled like him and stepped toward him. He saw both. "Say the thing you haven't said," he whispered, "to yourself." "He hurt me," I said. "More. He used me. More. He made me a function," I said, and the line tore loose. And I kept pretending it was love. Grant checked his watch. Darren rolled his eyes. The truth landed where it needed to, inside my ribs. "Open it," I said. Whit flinched, then steadied. "You sure?" "Yes." He raised the shutter of foot faces, not feet. Rain spilled in. Grant crouched to peer under. "Max, come on. Repeat after me," I said, suddenly calm. "You don't own me." "Don't do this," he said. "You're emotional." "You don't own me," I said again, louder. Darren leaned to the gap. "We're calling the police." "You broke into my night," Whit said. "You can call whoever you want. After you leave." Grant tried one more card. "I forgive you," he repeated, as if mercy could erase math. "Well, pretend. Stop forgiving me for leaving you," I said. Ask why I had to. The words didn't change him, they changed me. You're done here, Whit said. Go. Grant's face hardened. You think this guy will save you? You're sick. You need someone who knows what to do. I do, I said. I'm dealing with it tomorrow, without you, Darren muttered. Whit's hand closed on the bar. Wait, I said, and the knife hit us. Whit looked like I'd cut myself. I turned to him, not the door. I'm scared, I said, and I want the sentence burned. I want you to stay when I sleep. I want you to stop if I say stop. I want you to not be him. His mouth parted. Rain hissed. Okay, Whit said. No poetry. A floor close it, I said. He did. The lock dropped. The building exhaled once. I slid down the wall. He crouched, not touching. You didn't tell me everything, I said. About last month. No, he didn't defend it. I'm sorry. Don't be sorry, I said. Be here. He reached, paused. I nodded. His palm found my neck warm, steady. I leaned into it. His forehead met mine. We breathed the same inch of air. The ache felt like proof. I want you, I said, saying it hurt less than swallowing it. He inhaled. Not tonight, he whispered, thick with promise of timing, not denial. But I'm not going anywhere. Outside, a car door slammed, tires hissed. The threat receded. My phone buzzed once on the bench and went still. Whit lowered to sit beside me. Our shoulders didn't touch until they did. I don't need you brave, he said. I need you honest. I can do that. I believed it because it was already happening. He nudged the sweatshirt into my lap. I pulled it on. He stood and offered a hand. I took it. He didn't let go too soon or too late. Upstairs, the room waited the way Wed left it, but not the same. He turned down the lamp. We stopped close enough for the question to pass. He didn't kiss me. I didn't ask. His breath warmed the space between. Sleep, he said. Stay, I said. I will. The night held what Wed said and refused to promise morning. Morning bled gray through the blinds. I woke before him, wrapped in his sweatshirt, heartbeat heavy but steady for the first time in weeks. Whit slept on the chair, chin tucked, arms crossed like he never trusted himself to rest too close. I studied him in silence, the scar on his lip, the way his chest rose and fell. It felt dangerous, how much I wanted him, how much I already needed him. My phone lay on the table, dark and still. One swipe, and I'd see what waited. Grant's fury, Darren's threats, maybe worse. I didn't touch it. I couldn't. Instead, I traced the seam of the sweatshirt with trembling fingers. The fabric still carried the oil and smoke scent of his life. For a moment I let myself believe it was mine. When he stirred, his eyes found me instantly, like he hadn't really been asleep. You okay? I don't know, I admitted. He nodded once, like that was enough truth. He stood, stretched, then paused in the doorway. You can stay another night, if you want. The offer twisted something deep. I wanted to say yes. I wanted to run. I wanted both at the same time. Whit, I said, voice raw, what happens if I don't? He didn't answer. Just watched me, jaw tight, as if had already lived through endings like this. Silence filled the room thicker than the rain, heavier than any words. I wanted to ask him to choose for me. I wanted to beg him not to let me leave. But the words stuck. Finally he turned, hand braced on the doorframe. If you go, he said softly, I won't stop you. The space between us stretched unbearable. I pulled the sweatshirt tighter, trying to hold the warmth in. When he walked out, I didn't follow. And when the door closed, I couldn't tell if the sound meant good, bye or not yet.